There's a hidden war happening in millions of homes right now. A psychological battle where one child is crowned royalty while the other becomes invisible. And the most devastating part? The invisible child often spends their entire life trying to earn a throne that was never meant for them. What if I told you that your greatest wound could become your greatest power? Picture this. Two siblings sit at the dinner table. Maya gets straight A's, but her parents barely glance at her report card. Meanwhile, her brother Jake gets a C+, and the whole family erupts in celebration. He's really applying himself, they beam. Maya shrinks a little more each day, wondering what's wrong with her. Sound familiar? Maya doesn't know it yet, but she's about to discover something that will shatter everything she believes about worth, love, and power. Here's what nobody tells you about being the other child. You've been training for something extraordinary without even knowing it. While the golden child was learning to perform for applause, you were learning something far more dangerous: how to exist without permission. Most therapists will tell you to heal your inner child or set boundaries. But what if the real answer is darker? What if it requires you to embrace the very thing your family feared most about you? Have you ever noticed that the most powerful people in history were rarely their parents' favorites? There's a reason for that, and a controversial psychologist discovered exactly why over 100 years ago. But his findings were so uncomfortable that even today, most people refuse to accept them. If you've ever felt guilty for wanting more than what was given to you, it's not because you're greedy. It's because you've been trained to think your ambition is dangerous. Alfred Adler, Freud's rival and the black sheep of psychology. He had a radical theory that explains everything. He called it the inferiority complex, but not in the way you think. Adler believed that the child who feels less than develops what he called fictional finalism. It's an imaginary goal of who they could become. While the golden child rests on their throne, the inferior child is literally rewiring their brain for revolution. But that's not even the dangerous part. Think about it. The golden child gets validation for who they are. But you had to imagine who you could become. And here's where it gets wild. Adler himself was the problem child in his family. Sickly, overlooked, constantly compared to his older brother. His own mother once said she wished he'd never been born. Can you imagine? But instead of breaking him, it built him. He became one of the most influential psychologists in history, all because he learned what you're learning right now. But Adler's theory goes deeper than just overcoming. He discovered that unfavored children develop 3 superpowers. First, hypervigilance. You learn to read every micro-expression, every shift in mood. While your sibling was basking in approval, you were becoming a master psychologist. Think about it. Can you walk into a room and immediately sense the emotional temperature? Can you tell when someone's lying before they finish their sentence? That's not anxiety. That's a superpower you developed in the battlefield of your childhood home. Here's the strange part. Second, creative rebellion. Without a script to follow, you had to write your own. That's not trauma. That's innovation. The golden child had a path laid out for them. Follow the rules, get the reward. But you had to create your own rules, build your own path. And that made you dangerous in the best possible way. But this is where it flips. Third, and this is the dangerous one. You developed what Adler called the courage to be disliked. Your parents already showed you that love was conditional. So while your sibling is still dancing for approval, you've already learned the secret. True power comes from not needing anyone's permission to exist. Let me tell you what this really means. It means you can walk away from toxic relationships. It means you can pursue your dreams without a safety net of approval. It means you're free in a way the golden child will never be. You have the right to stop waiting for approval that was never going to come. The golden child curse is real. Studies show that favored children often struggle more in adulthood. Why? Because they never learn to generate their own worth. They're still waiting for someone to tell them they're special. A 2018 study from the Journal of Family Psychology found that golden children have higher rates of anxiety and depression in adulthood. They literally don't know who they are without the applause. But you're dangerous. Because someone who doesn't need external validation can't be controlled. Think about the most successful people you know. How many of them talk about being their parents' favorite? I'll wait. Steve Jobs, given up for adoption. Oprah, raised by a grandmother who barely noticed her. Howard Schultz of Starbucks, his father thought he'd amount to nothing. J.K. Rowling, her mother's death and her father's emotional absence shaped her entire worldview. She wrote Harry Potter while on welfare, as a single mother, with everyone telling her she'd never make it. See the pattern? Most people will spend their whole lives in therapy trying to get mommy and daddy's approval. But you're not most people, are you? You wouldn't be here if you were. If you've ever felt like you had to work twice as hard for half the recognition, you're already living the unfavored child's destiny. And it's more powerful than you think. Now here's the part that might trigger you. Your sibling isn't your enemy. They're trapped too. Adler called it the golden cage. While you were building wings in the shadows, they were being clipped in the spotlight. Every achievement had to match expectations. Every failure was catastrophic. They never learned to fail forward like you did. They never learned that rock bottom has a basement, and even there you can build. But wait, there's a second psychologist who saw this too. Carl Jung called it the shadow child phenomenon. The overlooked child develops what he called individuation faster. You literally become your own person, while the golden child stays an extension of the parents. Jung noticed something else. The shadow child often becomes the family healer later in life. Not because they're weak, but because they see the whole system. They understand the pain on all sides. Here's another story. Two sisters. Emma was the artist, the dreamer. Her sister Lisa was the straight-A student, the pride of the family. 20 years later, Emma owns 3 companies. Lisa still calls mom before making any big decision. Emma told me once, "I used to hate being invisible. Now I realize it was my superpower. I learned to validate myself." Lisa is still waiting for someone else to do it. Who do you think has it worse? The child who learns early that love must be earned, or the child who never learns to earn anything at all? What if your parents knew exactly what they were doing? What if favoritism is actually an unconscious strategy to create different types of survivors? In nature, birds often feed one chick more than others. It's cruel, but it ensures that no matter what happens, someone survives, someone thrives, someone evolves. Your parents might have been playing a game they didn't even understand, creating a survivor and a dependent. And you got the better deal. But here comes the real question. Stop trying to heal the child you were. Start honoring the warrior you became. Every time they overlooked you, you grew stronger. Every time they praised your sibling instead of you, you learned to praise yourself. Every time they made you invisible, you learned to see in the dark. You know what's beautiful about learning to see in the dark? You become the light for others who are still there. You have the right to use your pain as fuel. You have the right to succeed without guilt. You have the right to outgrow everyone who underestimated you. You have the right to build a life so beautiful that your childhood becomes just a chapter, not the whole story. But here's the ultimate test. Can you thank them for it? Not forgive. That's basic. Can you actually thank your parents for giving you the gift of neglect? Because that's what it was. A gift. The gift of becoming self-made. While your sibling got handed self-esteem on a silver platter, you had to mine yours from bedrock. And that's why yours is unshakable. You are not broken. You are evolved. You are not too much. You are exactly enough. You are not the forgotten child. You are the one who learned to remember yourself. You didn't get their love story. You got something better. You got your own. The question is, will you use it? Remember Maya from the beginning? The straight-A student whose parents ignored her success? She's 35 now, runs her own tech company. Her brother Jake, still living at home, waiting for someone to celebrate his C+ efforts. Maya learned something her brother never did, that the only approval that matters is the one you give yourself. She told me last week, I spent 20 years angry about being invisible. Then I realized, being invisible meant I could become anyone I wanted. Jake is still trying to be who they expect him to be. So here's my challenge to you.
For the next 24 hours, stop trying to prove your worth to anyone who should have seen it automatically. Instead, ask yourself, what would I create if I knew I was already enough? The golden child got a throne. You got something better. The ability to build your own kingdom. Write down 3 things you've achieved that no one celebrated. Then celebrate them yourself. Buy yourself flowers. Take yourself to dinner. Be your own golden parent. So, are you ready to stop being controlled by a story that was never yours? If you're ready to stop asking for permission to exist, if you're done waiting for an apology that's never coming, if you choose to see your wound as your wisdom, then you belong here. Subscribe not because I asked you to, but because you finally found people who speak your language, the language of the overlooked, who became the unstoppable. Your throne was never in their house. It's out here, in the world you're about to conquer. If you're choosing freedom, you belong here. And the next video will show you exactly how to use what you've learned. Oh, and that golden child sibling of yours, they're going to need your help one day. And when they do, you'll be ready. Because that's what warriors do. They protect even those who never protected them. That's the final plot twist of being the unfavored child. You become strong enough to love everyone, even the ones who couldn't love you right. Now go build your kingdom. We're all waiting to see what you create. The revolution starts with you, and it starts right now.